My beloved, stop for a moment. Do not rush past this. Do not tell yourself you will listen later. If you found these words now, it is not coincidence, not chance, not something the mind needs to analyze. This moment has timing, and timing is never loud. It is precise. You did not arrive early. You did not arrive late. You arrived exactly when you were able to hear this. There were days before this when these words would have meant nothing. They would have passed over you like sound without depth, and there will be days ahead when you will. Remember this moment and realize it marked a quiet shift. That is how timing works. It does not announce itself. It reveals itself afterward. My beloved, you have been asking questions, not always with words, but with your restlessness, your exhaustion, your sense that something must change even if you cannot explain what. You felt it in moments of silence, in the way distractions stopped working, in the way familiar routines felt heavy instead of safe. Those feelings were not confusion. They were signals. Signals that you were ready for truth instead of comfort. If you found this, it is on time because something in you has reached the edge of what it can tolerate unconsciously. You can no longer live halfway, halfway listening, halfway choosing, halfway trusting yourself. The inner tension you feel is not a problem to fix. It is awareness waking up. Awareness always feels uncomfortable at first. My beloved, think back to the last few weeks or months. Notice how you began to pause more often. How you questioned things you once accepted automatically. How you felt drawn to stillness instead of noise, depth instead of distraction. This did not happen randomly. It happened because the part of you that knows truth grew, louder than the part that fears change. You may have asked for answers without realizing it. Not answers that impress, but answers that settle you. Answers that do not rush you forward, but steady you enough to move without fear. This moment is part of that response. My beloved, many people miss timing because they are waiting for certainty, but certainty is not what precedes change. Readiness is. Readiness feels like discomfort with the old, not confidence in the new. It feels like standing between identities, no longer who you were, not yet who you are becoming. That is where you are now. If you found this, it is on time because you are no longer asking life to entertain you. You are asking it to be honest with you, and honesty does not shout. It speaks quietly at moments when you are still enough to listen. Listen now. You have survived seasons that taught you restraint, patience, and discernment. You learned how to carry weight without collapsing. You learned how to keep going without applause. You learned how to sit with unanswered questions without abandoning yourself completely. Those lessons were not meant to end in survival. They were meant to prepare you for alignment. Alignment is when life begins to make sense, not because everything is clear, but because you are no longer fighting yourself. My beloved, you may feel an urge to label this moment, to call it a sign, a message, a turning point. You do not need to name it. You need to receive it. Receiving does not require effort. It requires openness. Openness is when you stop arguing with what you feel, when you stop explaining it away, when you stop rushing to replace discomfort with distraction. If you found this, it is on time because you are finally willing to sit with what is real. Instead of escaping into what is familiar, that willingness changes everything. My beloved, there is something important you must hear now. You are not behind. The pressure you feel about time is not truth, it is habit. A habit of measuring life by comparison instead of integration. Integration takes time. Depth cannot be rushed. What you are becoming needed patience, not speed. This moment honors that patience. You have been learning to listen to your body, your breath, your intuition. You may not have called it wisdom, but that is what it is. Wisdom does not arrive suddenly. It accumulates quietly until one day you realize you cannot live the old way anymore. That realization is on time. If you found this, it is on time because you are ready to stop negotiating with your truth. Ready to stop postponing rest? Ready to stop explaining yourself to people who are not listening? Ready to stop doubting the signals that have been consistent inside you? Consistency is guidance. My beloved, timing is not about luck. It is about capacity. Life waits until you can hold what it gives. It waits until you can receive clarity without panic, responsibility without collapse, peace without suspicion. You can now. That is why you are here. You may feel fear rising, even as you feel calm. That is natural. Fear appears when identity shifts. It asks, who will I be if I no longer live this way? Do not answer that question yet. Let it stay open. Open questions create space for truth to enter. This moment is not asking you to decide everything. It is asking you to stop ignoring what you already know. You know what drains you? You know what steadies you? You know where you stay out of habit. You know where you have outgrown the role you are playing? Knowing is no longer the issue. Choosing is, my beloved, if you found this, it is on time because life is about to ask more honesty from you, not harsh honesty, but gentle, uncompromising truth. Truth about your limits. Truth about your desires. Truth about what you can no longer carry without cost. Cost is the language awareness understands. You are no longer meant to push blindly. You are meant to move intentionally. Intention changes the quality of effort. It removes desperation. It brings clarity. It allows you to act without betraying yourself. This is what readiness feels like. You may wonder why this message did not find you earlier. It is because earlier, you might have tried to use it as motivation instead of integration. Motivation excites. Integration transforms. You are ready for transformation now. Transformation is quiet. It begins with listening. Listen to what your discomfort is asking. Listen to what your exhaustion is teaching. Listen to what your longing is pointing toward. These are not problems. They are invitations. My beloved, timing is never random. It is always relational between what life offers and what you can receive. This moment exists because that relationship has aligned. You do not need to do anything dramatic after this. You need to notice differently. Notice when you are rushing. Notice when you are avoiding. Notice when you are staying out of fear instead of truth. Awareness is the first action. If you found this, it is on time because awareness has arrived. My beloved. Now listen even more quietly because timing does not only bring awareness, it brings release. When something arrives on time, it is asking you to let go of what can no longer come with you. Not forcefully, not dramatically, gently. This timing is asking you to release delay. Not delay caused by patience, delay caused by fear. Fear of choosing wrong. Fear of disappointing others. Fear of stepping into responsibility before you feel completely ready. My beloved, readiness does not come before movement. It comes through it. You have waited long enough to understand. Now understanding must become choice. This moment is asking you to stop postponing. The life you already know you are meant to live. It is also asking you to release the need for guarantees. You have been wanting certainty before action, clarity before commitment, assurance before trust. But life does not work in that order. Clarity follows courage. Assurance follows alignment. Trust grows when you act honestly without knowing the ending. If you wait for guarantees, you will miss timing every time. My beloved, this timing is also asking you to release old self-descriptions. I'm just like this. This is how I've always been. I don't change easily. These are not truths. They are habits disguised as identity. You are not fixed. You are formed, and formation continues as long as you are alive. The fact that you feel restless now means formation is active again. Do not resist it. This moment is also asking you to release over-attachment to comfort. Comfort kept you safe once, but comfort without growth becomes confinement. You are no longer being asked to endure. You are being asked to choose consciously. Even when comfort tempts you to stay the same, staying the same now would cost more than changing. My beloved, timing is also asking you to release noise. Noise in your mind. Noise in your environment. Noise from opinions that do not align with your values. Noise makes timing hard to hear. Silence refines perception. You do not need to withdraw from life. you need to reduce unnecessary input. Less comparison, less explanation, less distraction. Silence is not emptiness. This moment is also asking you to release self-judgment. Judgment keeps you stuck in who you were. Compassion allows you to move forward as who you are becoming. You do not need to punish yourself to grow. Growth responds to honesty, not harshness. Be firm with patterns. Be gentle with yourself. My beloved, timing also asks you to release the belief that you must do everything alone. You learned independence through necessity, but independence does not mean isolation. You are allowed to receive support. You are allowed to rest. You are allowed to lean when clarity is forming. Strength includes discernment about when to carry and when to receive. This timing is also asking you to release the urgency to define everything now. You do not need to name the destination. You need to take the next honest step. Life reveals itself through movement, not overthinking. My beloved, releasing does not mean losing. It means making space. Space for clarity. Space for steadiness. Space for a version of you that does not live in reaction. As you release, you may feel lighter and uncertain at the same time. That is normal. Uncertainty after release is not danger, it is openness. Openness is where truth enters. If you found this, it is on time because you are capable of letting go without collapsing. You can release without falling apart now. You can step forward without rushing. You can choose without betraying yourself. That capacity did not exist before. That is why this moment did not arrive earlier. My beloved, do not rush to fill the space that release creates. Let the space breathe. Stillness is doing important work inside you. Timing does not require speed. It requires presence. My beloved, the moment where timing becomes direction and awareness becomes movement without force. What brought you here was not urgency. It was readiness. And readiness does not rush. It walks steadily, choosing what aligns and releasing what does not. From this moment forward, your task is not to change everything at once. It is to live slightly more honestly than you did before. Honesty in how you spend your energy. Honesty in how you respond under pressure. Honesty in what you say yes to and what you quietly step away from. Small honesty compounds. Timing does not ask for dramatic decisions. It asks for clean ones. Clean decisions feel calm. They may feel unfamiliar, but they do not feel chaotic. When you feel frantic, pause. Frantic energy belongs to fear, not timing. Timing feels grounded even when it leads you into the unknown. My beloved, honor this moment by protecting presence. Presence is how timing stays alive. When you rush ahead mentally, timing fades. When you dwell on the past, timing dulls. Stay where your feet are. Stay with your breath. Stay with what is real now. Presence turns insight into habit. There will be days after this where nothing seems different. Let those days be. Transformation integrates quietly. It settles into the nervous system. It rewires how you react, how you recover, how you choose. Do not look for constant confirmation. Live in a way that allows confirmation to find you. My beloved, if fear returns, and it will sometimes, do not treat it as a sign to stop. Treat it as a sign to slow down and listen. Fear often appears at the edge of truth. Ask it gently what it needs. Reassurance, rest, clarity, boundaries, then respond. Response dissolves fear more effectively than resistance. You are learning to respond, not react. Honor rest as part of timing. Rest is not retreat. It is integration. When you rest intentionally, you allow insight to become instinct. You allow clarity to become embodied. Protect your sleep. Protect your quiet. These are not luxuries. They are necessities for alignment. My beloved, choose simplicity whenever possible. Complexity is how old patterns return. Too many commitments, too many explanations, too many opinions. Simplify your inputs so your inner guidance can speak clearly. Fewer things done well will move you further than many things done anxiously. Finish what you start. Leave what drains you. Keep promises small and kept. This builds trust, not with others first, but with yourself. As you move forward, let your life become less about proving and more about practicing. Practice pausing. Practice choosing calmly. Practice leaving earlier. Practice returning quickly when you drift. Practice kindness without self-erasure. Practice makes alignment natural. My beloved, you may notice that some people do not understand your changes. Let that be. Understanding often lags behind transformation. Do not explain yourself into exhaustion. Let consistency speak. Time clarifies what words cannot. You are not responsible for managing others' comfort. There will also be moments of quiet joy, moments that feel ordinary but right. Let them land. Do not rush past them. Gratitude anchors timing so it can continue to guide you. Gratitude is not performance. It is attention. Pay attention to what feels heavy. Pay attention to what feels true. Attention is devotion in action. My beloved, remember this one truth and carry it lightly into every day ahead. Timing does not ask you to become someone new. It asks you to stop ignoring who you already are. When choices arise, ask gently, does this honor the moment I'm in? When pressure rises, ask, can I respond without betraying myself? When doubt whispers, ask, what is the next honest step? Take that step. Then the next. No rushing, no forcing, no self-abandonment. If you found this, it was on time. If you're hearing this now, it's still on time. Timing stays alive when you stay present. Walk forward calmly. Choose honestly. Rest deeply. Return quickly. I am with you, not as urgency, not as demand, but as the quiet clarity that rises whenever you pause and listen. My beloved, let this moment do its work.